Hi there. What's up, everybody? It's ATX Crypto. I hope y'all are having, as always, a fantastic day. We're gonna take a little peeky weeky over here at the HEX daily stats, or not HEX daily stats, the HEX chart. So we can see currently we're actually at 5.3 cents, folks, and that is a phenomenal moment to be at as well. Yesterday we actually had gas prices absurdly high. I mean, ridiculously high. So if you were trying to transact on the Ethereum network yesterday, you probably felt some of the pain. And I feel that with you, because I was looking at those numbers and I was trying to advise anyone who is watching not to transact, or at least to keep your eye out for what could have been a better opportunity, because that was not it yesterday. I mean, that was a wild time there. So if you did transact yesterday, then you were absolutely a madman. Congrats to you. Even the Godwell himself, and we're going to discuss a little bit into that in this video. We're looking at crypto influencers, we're looking at HEX adoption from centralized exchanges, and we're also going to be discussing the Godwells ending the stakes. So that's what we're going to be looking into today's video, so that way y'all have a little rundown as to what's going on. But yesterday, the transaction fees were just, I mean, wildly high. It was so high, in fact, I think it ended up reaching at one point in time roughly around 770 Gwei, which, to y'all's knowledge, Gwei is just like the amount it costs to transact on the network. Think about it like a toll road, if you will, like you're paying a fee. So because it may be rush hour, they're going to charge a lot more money during that time for that toll road. Well, this was even beyond that. It was insane. Normally a good Gwei price that you want to be looking for is around 8 to 12. If you're fortunate or unfortunate, I mean, and just need to transact maybe quickly and just want to get something done, 20 to 30 is also okay as well. You're going to pay a little bit more in the fees, but it's okay. It's reasonable. I mean, even right now at this moment in time, the Gwei is sitting around 46 to give you an idea. And again, yesterday's Gwei was in the ballpark of 700. I mean, that is just a no bueno in total. You just avoid Ethereum at that point in time when you hear those kind of numbers, because it's almost kind of sickly in a certain way. I just wanted to kind of briefly show that information to y'all as well. And looking at what we have going on with HEX price, we still have it bouncing up once again, hanging above the 5 cent threshold. I love seeing HEX above 5 cents. It makes everyone happy, and it just leads to bigger and greater opportunities, because every time we hear any announcement of PulseChain from our man Richard Hart, typically it also leads to a good price action and price movement as well. So if we're at 5 cents and we get news, then we may go up 6, 7, 8 cents, right? And if PulseChain V3 testnet launches to go public, we may see 10 to 11, 12 cents, right? Because people are expecting PulseChain to launch soon, and they're using HEX as a tool to get into the ecosystem. I've talked about this before in some of my previous videos. But yeah, absolutely a great time to really stay above the 5 cent threshold. Love seeing it bounce in this little range as well. Big fan anytime I get to see it here in this range. So let's see. Well, luckily you don't have to catch up for too long. Crypto Compassion says catching up on 2x. Like, it just started 6 minutes ago, so if you catch up in 2x, then you're gonna be caught up in about 3 minutes. So congrats on that. We have the Elon Musk of crypto, but doesn't lie to investors, shill shitcoins, and dump on his followers. Heads. Tin Top, that is like, whenever I say the Elon Musk of crypto, it's just because it's a reference to get people's minds in there in that similar headset. But like, yeah, he's, I mean, if not 100 times, if not 1,000 times, 10,000 times better than Elon Musk for many reasons. Not only does he not post dumb shit on Twitter constantly like you may see from Elon Musk, but you see Richard Hart coming through and posting stuff that can actually be beneficial for folks. Like, hey, this exchange is going down, you might want to get your money off. Hey, just FYI, you know, this is going on. He lets people know what's happening, and that is so much better than like here's a post of a dog coin, or he just says doggy, or he just says something so ridiculous that people are like, ah, it's fucking like, they take his word as, I don't even know what they take it as, but it's just laughable, the amount of followers that he has. Granted, he's got Tesla and SpaceX and other things, but can you imagine when we have PulseChain, PulseX, and all the ecosystem of Richard Hart? Oh my gosh, he's gonna have his museum. We're gonna have the Highest of Stakes documentary coming out. It's gonna be just an incredible time, guys. If you're here watching this video right now, consider yourself blessed, and I mean that truly wholeheartedly. Consider yourself blessed, fortunate, and thankful that you were even able to hear about this ecosystem before the mainstream media or the mainstream crypto hears about it. It is an absolutely crazy time. Funkmaster Hex, yes, caught alive. What up, what up? Appreciate you coming through, Funkmaster. Crypto capacitor. Kaya. Tag, you're it. Right. Funkmaster Hex. Hey, quick little shout out to anyone who's watching this at this point in time. What I would say is, if you can, I'm trying to also be able to stream over on TikTok at the same time and try to get to go live there while we're doing this stream, just to kind of help promote the HEX ecosystem and Richard Hart ecosystem. So if you want to, go give me a follow over there on TikTok. It's greatly appreciated. It means a lot. It's just ATX Crypt, again, without the O at the end. So ATX Crypt. And guys, that would mean the world. Thank you so much. That one, I'm really trying to see if we can make something happen there, because it could be interesting. So definitely curious to see what may end up coming over. Now back to the HEX daily stat information. Let's take a look over here at the oh my gosh, I freaking love it, guys. These are the PulseChain developers right here. I check this every single day to see if they're still active, because what else are we gonna do, right? We don't have PulseChain out right now, so all I can do is just see if the devs are at least active on GitLab. So if you go to GitLab and type in PulseChain, and you can see and go in here to members right here in this little area, you can see these are the developers of PulseChain as of right now. You have Brett Paulson, 3 Commas Capital, SJB, Kyle Barr. We've talked about these folks before. Do yourself a favor and definitely possibly follow them. Their handles for Twitter are right here in the areas. If you need to take a little view a little closer, that's Brett Paulson's handle. This is 3 Commas Capital, all one word, 3 Commas Capital, and then you end up getting SJB933 and also K-Bar. Now check this out over here, folks. We have all of them active basically yesterday, and I don't know what that means per se, but this is bullish in my opinion, because you have a developer February 14th, 2023. By the way, Brett Paulson, big shout out to him. He's been active every single day in GitLab since January 1st. He must be doing some amazing things going on in our PulseChain ecosystem. So when it launches, we're going to have a lot of thanks to this guy right here, along with all the other devs, of course, as well. Because right behind him, you got 3 Commas Capital, active February 14th, 2023. SJB933, active February 14th, 2023. Oh my gosh. So all of them were active as of yesterday. Kyle Barr active as of February 13th, 2023. Folks, this is bullish. And again, I've said this before. If I ever see a point in time where I see Richard Hart show up as active on here, I don't know exactly what that's going to mean, because like truly don't really know what that means per se. But if he's active on GitLab, it probably means we're about to launch. And that's kind of my guess. And I don't really know that for a fact, but that's why I check it out every single day. I like Elon testing liquidity. Yeah, we're just making sure that it can handle, you know, what we need to be able to throw at it. Dude, just say you want to take profit, bro. Testing liquidity. Love that. Jason, thank you so much for putting that right there. That is my TikTok handle, ATX Crypt. Again, you can go check it out, tiktok.com/@ATX Crypt, or go in right here at this handle as well, TikTok ATX. Thank you so much. You're awesome, Jason. So checking this out over here, those are the developers of PulseChain. Now let's take a little peeky-weeky over here and take a little gander and see what's going on with the HEX daily stats, because folks, there's some big news that we're going to discuss a little bit later in the video, talking about the Godwell ending his stake, and that was a 2 billion HEX stake as well. So we're expecting this t-shirt rate to probably ratchet up pretty heavy, and I don't know exactly how much it's going to do, but based on yesterday's number, the t-shirt rate was 25,753, and you can see that right here. That just means how much hex does it cost you to get one t-share right now, and this number is always going to go up. It can never be less than the previous day. It's built into the code. It's part of the hex design. Hex code being immutable, hex code being flawless, hex code having 100% operation and uptime. Love seeing this, but I can imagine that we're about to see a big increase, because sometimes you'll see these little increases of 12, 13. There's been times where it's gone up 20, you know, but this one we're expecting probably in the ballpark of like 300 to 600 hex increase based on that alone. So we're gonna find out exactly what it ends up being. Yesterday's payout per t-shirt, 6.423. Overall, the yesterday's close price was sitting at 4.9 cents. So we're already above yesterday's close. If you had bought hex, you are now profit. You are in profit right now as we speak. Way back to being a reasonable number as well, and that's kind of where we ended up seeing it yesterday on this website that saw it at like 700, or it was at 500 at one point in time yesterday while I was streaming. 500 Gwei. That just means it literally costs so much more money to transact on the network that it's not even worth it. Like, I literally would avoid that like the plague if you really can, because that number right there will get you freaking wrecked. And so I just want to share that information with a lot of folks. Let's do this little shout out here. Debbie G. What's up, Debbie G? What's happening? How are you? How are you? How are you? All right, so again, back to the hex price. Look at this. Keep going. Keep going. Keep pumping. Let's go. All right, so overall, we have a lot of good stuff happening in the hex ecosystem. But really, today's discussion, I wanted to go into a little bit more detail into a couple of topics that have been happening. So let's get this set up real fast, and I can get all that done. And boom. So right away, let's talk about crypto influencers beginning to notice, guys. This is something that's really happening pretty frequently right now. And the more that we continue, the more it also continues as well. So I want to talk about this first because, guys, we got bigger influencers starting to notice. And welcome back to the channel for anyone who's coming back right now, where I talk about the most exciting and profitable projects in the crypto space. Today we got some exciting and amazing news for you, and we're going to be discussing just how, like I've been telling you, HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX are the three projects that are revolutionizing the crypto industry. Well, now there's other crypto influencers who are also beginning to notice, and I think they are truly understanding how this is going to be one of the best investments that you can make right now as of today. So some of the best and most influential crypto YouTubers are already starting to talk about them, and we have a few of them that I have pulled up as well. So you know what that means, guys. It means these projects are about to explode in popularity and in price. So you don't want to miss an opportunity like this. Get ready, get in early, and make some life-changing gains, because that's basically what we're looking for. So before I really get into all the information, I do ask that, you know what, if you're appreciating the content that we're putting out, if you're appreciating the work that's being put into this, definitely smash the like button, or boot the like button, or turn it blue, or whatever it makes more sense for you. But if if it means a lot to you, or just like it means to me, if you're appreciating the information that's getting put out, subscribe is always nice, because it just means that you want to come back and continue getting content like this that's being put out. Now, if you do have any comments or suggestions or any other items that you may ask for me or of me, just leave a comment down below, right? Remember this, first off, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes only. I'm just a guy who loves crypto and the rich and hard ecosystem of HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX. I want to share my knowledge and passion with every single one of you beautiful people. So don't take anything I say as gospel. Just do your own research, stay invested responsibly. You could do what I did and just ape in, but again, that's not necessarily the way to always do it. So you got to make that decision for yourself. Oh, hold up. Okay. All right, so let's get started. My wife just brought in the puppy. All right, let me see if I can get him on over here. Bentley. Come here, Bentley. Come here, Bentley, come here. Oh, just get your booty? Okay, well, he's too shy. He's too shy right now, and that's okay. Come here. Come here. All right, well, he doesn't want to show his face off right now, and that's okay. So let's go back over here. Let's get started with who these crypto YouTubers are, right? That are talking about HEX, that are talking about PulseChain, that's even mentioning PulseX, because let me show you, right? Because this is big, right? The first one that we have is BitBoy Crypto, and he is probably one of the most popular crypto channels on YouTube. He's got over he's got right at 1.5 million subscribers. He's got over 200 million views, and his thoughts about HEX being the best performing asset of all time and how it's outperformed Bitcoin and Ethereum is just leading people toward the best crypto product, in my opinion, of HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX. He also goes into more detail about how PulseChain is going to be the next big thing in crypto, and he talks about how it's going to solve the problems of Ethereum. He talks about the high fees. He talks about the slow transactions. Even he was mentioning before the environmental impact. Now, since then, Ethereum has switched over to a proof of stake concept, which is perfectly fine, and that's all good in the ETH 2.0 system. But he was still bringing it up to folks. He tries to stay kind of in the middle and not take one stance or another. But I think we all know which way he's leaning, you know what I mean? I think we're very familiar that he sacrificed for PulseChain. He knew what was going on. He knew what was happening. And so he actually mentions even how PulseX could be possibly the best DEX like out there, right? Of course on PulseChain, but even out there, and how it's going to even offer lower fees than other decentralized exchanges, how it's going to grant high rewards, how it has a buy and burn mechanism that will help increase the value of the token. He talks about how investing in these projects could make him a lot of money, and we all know that he's done some crazy things in the past, but this is something that I'm going to give him kudos for. Bentley, no sir. I'm going to give him kudos. I need you to lay down, pup. Lay down. Over here, paw on my door. That's not okay. So like, hey, if he's talking about making a lot of money, I'm talking about making a lot of money. Like, let's go make a lot of money together. You know what I mean? Like, let's do it. Let's bring it on. The next one I want to bring up is DataDash, guys. This is another big crypto channel on YouTube. He's got over 500,000 subscribers. He's got over 100 million views. And DataDash talks about how HEX is actually one of the first high interest. Okay. Oh man, let me go back and figure out where I was at. DataDash talking about how HEX is one of the most one of the first blockchain certificate of deposits. It's a high interest blockchain CD, and how it pays you interest for locking up your tokens for a period of time. He talks about PulseChain being a fork of Ethereum. He mentions how it's going to give you the ability to stake to validators, and even the ability, he talked about it at the time of sacrifice when PulseChain was going on, how you can sacrifice some of your portion to charity if that's something you wanted to do, and receive Pulse tokens in return. So DataDash definitely shares his thoughts about PulseChain, about HEX. He also goes into a little bit of detail about how PulseX is a decentralized exchange, or a DEX. He goes into more detail that allows you to swap tokens on PulseChain, as well as trade them with other tokens on PulseChain. So he thinks it's going to be, he says that it's going to be a project that he's going to try, and that he thinks that they have a lot of potential. So big fan. He's actually done several interviews with Richard Hart already. So while he may not be promoting everything all the time to everyone, I think he's secretly in the Hexkin ecosystem. And when we see PulseChain launch, guys, we have some big crypto influencers who are out there. And last but definitely not least, and this is one of the ones who's really coming around lately, is Ivan on Tech. So the reason why I bring up Ivan on Tech is because he's got over 400,000 subscribers. He's got over 70 million views out of all of his videos, and he discusses how HEX is probably one of the most innovative and disruptive projects in crypto. He talks about how it can create a new category of crypto called store of value, and he goes into how PulseChain is probably one of the most anticipated and hyped projects in crypto. Lately, he's definitely coming on board and being much more vocal than he's ever been about these projects. And I am such a fan when I see someone who is outside of the community, who's a bigger crypto influencer, who's really starting to share and open up his own social following. Because guys, like, for some folks, they really find it hard to promote Richard Hart because of the backlash that people have with Richard Hart. Some people just hate him. I don't know why. Again, I've talked about this. It's polarizing. He has a true 50-50 split. But now Ivan on Tech is coming on board on our 50 side, and I'm a big fan because, guys, this is a huge thing, especially as of lately. He's been putting out tweets talking about how, you know, HEX wins, Cardano wins, big communities, who, you know, give me a shout out or whatever, and then HEX just dominates that. And that was over 100,000 views whenever I last looked at the tweet, and that was at the time he launched it. So he's definitely got some people listening. He's definitely got some people watching, and I'm curious to see how far we really take this, because not only does he talk about HEX, he now talks about PulseX and how it's going to be one of the most advanced and user-friendly DEXs on PulseChain, how it has a lower swap fee and a buy and burn mechanism to reduce the supply, and how it just appreciates the price of PulseX by that mechanism and tokenomics as well. He also says that he's going to be covering these projects in more depth, and that he does believe that they are the next big thing in crypto. So folks, this is huge, because as you can see, these are probably some of the most viewed and sought after influential or crypto influencers on YouTube in the world. And they're talking about HEX, they're talking about PulseChain, they're talking about PulseX, and they aren't the only ones, folks. There are so many other crypto YouTubers that are starting to talk about these projects, coming out of the woodworks, not being afraid to mention. We've passed every single thing you can pass, because in the beginning, it was all of this scam narrative. And guys, HEX has been running flawlessly for well over 3 years. So that scam narrative just ends up going further and further and further and further away. The longer something exists, the more likely it's going to be here for the long haul, right? And that's kind of what all these crypto influencers are finally starting to realize. So big fan of that as well. Let's take a little peeky weeky over here at chat. Charleston, I think we're in the bull, boys. Bull, let's go, dude. Like, I really hope we are out of the bear, and if we aren't, we are definitely in the accumulation phase, which is kind of the first cycle to a bull cycle, because you had the first bear cycle where prices are like boo, and we get the 90-95% drops. I think most altcoins have already done their 90-95% drop. Ethereum has dropped, I believe, like 70%, if I'm not mistaken. Bitcoin dropped, I think it was 60%. And so, you know, they definitely have some more possibly to fall. Who knows exactly if we are or not, but I think we're in at least the accumulation phase for sure right now. And always good to see. Always good to see you here as well, Charleston. Thank you so much. Recent subscriber to the channel. Always so much love as well. Like boot. Yeah, go ahead and boop that like button. You know what I mean? Let's boop. Subscribe to ATX, easy. There's a link right there, easy to do. You click the channel, you click subscribe, and dang, you are in it. I forgot to put the water down for you. Got it. My boy Paul, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing, Frenchy Made Bullies? How are you, my friend? You got Pierce ETH in the house saying HEX at 5.326 cents. Let's go! Like, absolutely. Like, that dude, like, that's so freaking motivating when you see HEX above 5 cents, in my opinion. As like crazy as that is, folks, 5 cents has really been the threshold that I've been watching, because first it was 3 cents and we couldn't pass that 3 cents for the life of us. We had many times where we kept meeting resistance against it. We finally passed 3 cents and just like flew past it, and then now 5 cents was the next level that we're watching, and we're really holding it as a level of support right now, in my opinion. So if we continue to hold it as a level of support and it progresses and it continues, then as soon as we get more announcements, more news, PulseChain launch v3, testnet, or if you get PulseChain launch in general, the moment of HEX rallying so much higher is that much more likely as long as we stay above 5 cents, right? And if we pass 6 cents and we can hold that level of support, then it becomes the same thing. So definitely love that. I love this photo, by the way, Funkmaster HEX. Love your profile pic. Can't wait for these guys to start staking or start talking, especially when they have the FOMO bull run audience sizes. Yeah, so they all have this FOMO bull size audience, like you just mentioned. And what's funny about it is it actually is very frequent for them to mention something and then everyone goes and rallies up, which is why a lot of folks were, you know, running into a scenario that that they were almost kind of like, if they mentioned something, you almost expected them to also, you know, pump and dump, as they say, as it's called. It was this pump and dump mechanic, and it was this whole idea that if HEX pumped, or if they mentioned something, that they could then dump on their followers, right? And some crypto influencers have done that. Not necessarily sure. Whoa, let me go back over here. I'm changing up something I shouldn't be changing. So, not necessarily sure if they're going to be trying to do that same mechanic, because I think all of these crypto influencers have sacrificed for PulseChain. And that's huge. Like, that's big. That's big. So, definitely a good moment there as well. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I can't wait for it either. Clifton Lewis says the RH community is truly a blessing and infectious to the whole space. Let's get things released and head up and away. Absolutely. What's up, Scotta2? Appreciate the subscribe. As always, thank you so much. We got Rocket Train. Yes, sir. 10 top. That's going to be a big old rocket going straight to Saturn, as we like to describe it. Not to the moon, because Saturn's got that HEX symbol already on it, and it's already built into the ecosystem of the planets. And we're going interspatial, folks. We aren't just reaching the moon. We're going to be reaching higher levels that no one's even thought of, and seeing new planets and spaces that no one's even heard of. ATX and hexagons to the moon! Absolutely, Big GZ. 100% agree with this. Hey, Taktarov. Yeah, I'm going to say that. Taktarov. What's going on? Hi, everyone. What's up? How are you? Hopefully, everyone's having a fantastic day, guys. It is Hump Day. As a matter of fact, it's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. Mike, what day is it? Hump Day! That used to be probably one of my favorite GIFs of like all time. I would always see that, you know, the little Campbell coming through. Mike, what day is it? Hump Day! And when I did work, that was what I would always end up shouting out. It was that every single time. So just a fun little moment there, taking me back already. Whenever I see Wednesdays and I get to do that little shout out, it does take me back to the days of me working, you know. Respect those days. But they got me to where I'm at now, and that's, you know, retired, living a beautiful life, having a beautiful wife, got a great family with tons of friends in the family and relationship and everything now. Just so much better than it was. And so thankful that I had gone through all those struggles, trials, and tribulations to get to where I am. And I'll continue to go through trials and tribulations. And in fact, this YouTube channel is kind of a testament to me sharing that journey with you. You know what I mean? Because I'm literally putting out what my thoughts are, my opinions. When PulseChain launches, I'm definitely going to be sharing even more information about other instances of what's going on, how to do it, you know. So big moments all in all for every single one of you beautiful people. And we have a bright, beautiful future ahead of us as long as you have patience. And I think for the most part, we have a lot of people who understand delayed gratification in our HEX ecosystem. So, excuse me. So I'll give a shout out to every single one of you beautiful folks for all of that. Give me 1 second. I do need to briefly go and put water in the dog's bowl real fast before the wife comes home. She just stepped out. Let's put this on a I was gonna say 5-minute chart, but that doesn't even look good. Why does that not look good? There you go. Put it on a little 5-minute chart. Ooh, 1-minute chart, even better. Who doesn't like seeing these 1-minute charts? all within the last really hour, 2 hours, we've kind of bounced from anywhere between 5.1 at the low all the way up to 5.3 at the high. And we have just much more way to go. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back, folks. And we're back. Hopefully I didn't keep y'all beautiful people waiting too long. But let's go back to the daily, because we don't like looking at the 1 minute chart here. That don't do us no good. All right, going back to the daily, checking this beautiful chart over here out. Love seeing this, dude. Love it. Guys, we're so freaking blessed to be in this ecosystem, in this community. Like, true. You know, like, I don't think, you know, anyone quite understands how blessed and fortunate we really are to be in this ecosystem. Go back to the daily. All right, this one has all my notes on it, so I'm just leaving it here. Cool. So yeah, guys, we're about to retest a new local high that we haven't seen at 5.5 cents. We almost reached 5.6 cents the other day. That was probably a week ago now at this point in time, February 8th. And so if we can pass the new local high and just start making, guys, we are making higher lows and eventually higher highs. Like if you go back here, we're making higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs over here, higher lows, higher highs. If we keep this little trajectory up, we just continue this little cycle all the way up to, you know, the next level of 10 cents. And then really that's that next level of resistance that we had the PulseChain sacrifice and announcement and all that kind of going through. So 10 cents back in the day, we kind of blew past. So we didn't really get to figure out how much we have in that little phase right there, but we will find out soon. So let's take the next topic up into this area. So that was the 10 top says my ADHD loves a 1 minute chart. Dude, that would like don't get me, I definitely have some form of ADHD or some form, because I'll just fucking bounce back and forth all around. What's funny about it all, though, in my opinion, is if I watch the 1 minute chart. I mean, guy, you can imagine. I used to watch the 1 minute chart, the 30-second chart. I would be on these little, like I was on Webull, and I think they had these little moments in time where you can be in seconds, and I was over here doing swing trades and day trades and doing all that stuff for a period of time in my life. And I'm so blessed and thankful to let that just be in my past and not even let it have an emotional effect on me, because it used to truly have an emotional effect. Like if I would see the price go down, or if I would just buy in and the price would go down, and then I would be like, oh God, do I sell? Do I put the limit order in? Do I do this to stop loss and all that stuff, right? I would have all these things in my head going every single day. And then like I would even go to sleep at night and have like a freaking nightmare. They're like, oh shit, I didn't put a stop loss on that order. And you know, come to find out, because like there was one trade that I did where I think I lost, I want to say it was like $8,000 within the span of a few hours because I didn't put a stop loss on it. And that like forever now haunts me. So the 1 minute chart just doesn't do it justice like it used to. It just is for prettiness of seeing it go right. The ADHD side, yeah, for sure. But luckily I don't have the effect where it's like, oh my God, do I get in now? Do I trade? Do I do something? What do I do? I've got so many more strategies now because, guys, the 5 Ps, proper preparation prevents poor performance. We talk about this all the time here on my channel. But guys, this is a way to ensure that you do not end up kind of screwing yourself over in some level, some degree. What happens if I click reset on this? What do y'all think about the colors on this? It's too late now because I already clicked reset, but oh, I need to go get a whole LUT pack. Yeah, I'm not doing that right now. Okay. ADHD bopping in. Please put water in the doggy bowl. Yes, of course, Frenchie made bullies. You definitely got it, right? That doggy's got water in his bowl now. He is a happy pupper. He's outside relaxing. Here in Texas, the temperature's back above 70 degrees. And then in the next couple days, it's going to be back down below 30 degrees or around 30 degrees. And then after that, it's going to go back up to 70, 80 degrees. Like, so I saw a little post. Someone said, heck, Texas, get your shit together. Because, like, literally, like, the Texas weather, if you ever look at it, it looks wild, by the way, folks. It just looks like it doesn't know what it's going to do. So, literally, one of the things in Texas, or at least where I'm at in the area I'm in, is just wait 10 minutes and the weather will change. Because it's that crazy. I see HEX 8 to 10 cents any day or very, very, very close. Frenchie made bullies. Literally all it takes is Richard Hart putting another announcement saying stage 8 complete of the 16 of PulseChain, and like more people are gonna start aping in, right? Like, unfortunately, HEX is now very correlated and tied to any announcement or non-announcement, right? Whether it's good or bad, which is why you see, like, when this happened here, he made a tweet basically saying there was a bug found, and then HEX dropped 21%, 21.5% in a day. Wild. Absolutely wild. Someone just sold $1 million right here. Oh, okay, 1,000. Shit, I'm tripping. I read that as the comma on my screen because it puts 0.090, and so I just read it as a comma on my screen. So I thought someone just sold 1 million HEX and the price didn't even dip. I was like, damn, go HEX, go. But yeah, it was just 1,000, so all good. That makes more sense. All right, back into the next topic of discussion for today. We talked about the crypto influencers. The next one is going to be exchanges listing HEX. This has been coming around pretty frequently now, where more and more exchanges are now kind of coming on board and listing HEX in the right spot. So the first one that's been brought to my attention and just kind of pointed to me is Kraken. Now, do I think HEX needs to be listed on centralized exchanges? Obviously it doesn't, right? It did a 10,000x with everyone trying to gatekeep it. I can just imagine how much more X's it will be able to do once the gatekeeping starts dropping and the gates start falling. And that's why I'm bringing this up right now, because the topic of these centralized exchanges who once would never even list, not even list HEX, like you wouldn't even be able to find it. Kraken was one of those exchanges that you could literally not find it on their system. Well, now they are finally listing HEX, and not only are they listing HEX, they're even listing HEX in the right spot based on the market cap. Now, market cap is a whole different discussion that, like, you can, argue is kind of BS. We know this already. It's just one of those things that we know in the HEX ecosystem. It's just kind of like a stupid number because you can't do anything with it. But people pay attention to it regardless of what you want to say. It is stupid. I get it. I'm with you on that. But the fact that people are paying attention to it, it just means that, again, it's getting more eyes on the project. So this is Kraken. I don't know why it's taking forever to load, but I was going to show you the top 10, and it was going to be the normal top 10, and then I was going to show you that they have HEX listed at number 11. But so be it. It doesn't want to load. So the next one I want to talk about is Yahoo Finance, folks. This is a big one here, in my opinion. This is something that kind of caught me off guard because they actually have a whole heat map view as well, which I've never really checked out. Let me see what this looks like. Do they have HEX listed on this? Yeah, they do. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. HEX is listed on the heat map, dude. Yeah, this is, again, if you imagine if you're new to crypto and you're just trying to see like what are the top cryptos, and you pull up something like this and you see Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, USDC, XRP, Cardano, Doge, Matic, right, Litecoin, and then you see HEX, they aren't even getting into what's all these other coins are, because there's so many freaking cryptos that are out there in the space in the market. So if you can just avoid those and just at least show in the top page, it's like going to Google, guys. Like, how often do you go to Google and you click on page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? You don't. I'll just say that much right now. You don't, right? There's no need for it. You don't do it, right? If you can't find what you're looking for, you just change how you did the search. But now that HEX is showing up right here in this little top area, that's some bullish freaking news, folks. This is some big news right here. HEX showing up in this little list on the heat map right away. Awesome, awesome to see. And if you actually pull up the results, whoops, I accidentally clicked on that. If you pull up the what is he saying? Now I'm kind of curious. Charlie Munger, I'm not proud of my country for allowing crypto. Okay, yeah. Charlie Munger hates crypto. He's always been opposed to it. But he's also one of those folks who are just old as fucking won't come around. And it's like, they say trying to teach an old dog new tricks. Well, he's just an older dog that was born in a different age where you have a different mentality when it comes to money and finances and how to handle and how to be a better person and what to do. But unfortunately for most people, we don't have that luxury of going back in time. There is no time travel machine that I know of that exists. So you have to either get with the times or you can try to go through and do it the old way. But I'm afraid that the old way won't be beneficial for us when we're his age, right? Like, I don't think the Social Security system is going to be around to pay me the work that I did and the amount of money they took to put into the Social Security system to just, if that's not a Ponzi scheme, I don't know what is. Like, I'm paying the system to go pay for someone else so that way they can live their life and not have to work, and they're older and they've done their work. But then whenever I'm that age, I don't even think it's going to be around for me to be able to collect. So I'm looking for what's going to be new, what's going to be there in the future, and what I'm seeing is crypto. It's by far the highest appreciating asset. I'm a big fan of crypto, but guys, look at this. Without even scrolling all the way down this list, you can see where HEX is sitting. Currently at right here, number 11, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. And again, like market cap, everyone has their own way of calculating market cap because you can see like they list this at 9.167. Kraken had 8.8, for the market cap, 8.8 billion. Yahoo Finance is showing HEX at 9.16 billion. So like market cap is just this metric that no one even understands how to calculate, and it's a super easy number to calculate. You can literally go to Etherscan and figure it all out if you really want to, because it shows it on there, but they try to come up with their own way of calculating. A different discussion for a different day. But I'm a big fan that we have HEX listed right here, guys. Look at this. Without even scrolling all the way down, people are going to be like, oh, what are some good cryptos to be looking for? And they're going to be looking probably in the top projects, right? And so they look at this and they hear Bitcoin, they hear of Ethereum. They've heard probably Binance, but this has its own flaws. XRP has its own flaws going through the lawsuit. They may or may not ever end. I have no idea. Cardano, Charles Hodgkinson dumps on his followers, right? We know all this already. Dogecoin's a freaking meme coin that's only popular because of Elon Musk and his shit posting of that doggy coin. So long story short, HEX listing here, big fan. Now, I had heard that OKX had also listed HEX, not necessarily in the right spot, because this is coming from HVID HEX on this one. They're listing HEX not correctly, but the gates are falling as we speak. It's on. Personally, whenever I tried to go find HEX on OKX, I actually couldn't find them. I don't know if they are backtracking again now and they're taking HEX off and not listing it anymore. I think everyone who tries to hide HEX is gonna have an egg splattering on their face when it comes to be 5 years old, 10 years old, and all these people that they've kept from seeing this amazing crypto is probably going to be pretty pissed that they kept it from them, because why would you not want to know about something long before the rest of the world knows about it? And that's the opportunity that we have right now, to know about something long before anyone else even hears about it. I think only 14% of the population are even in crypto. And of that 14%, we may only be in 1% that even know about HEX. So we're already in a fortunate stance, in my personal opinion. But again, whenever I tried to go find this on OKX, unfortunately, I couldn't find it. A little bit sad on that one, not gonna lie. Because I thought that was gonna be kind of a cool thing. OKX, I'd heard they were doing a lot of stuff for, you know, trying to limit the gatekeeping. But obviously, whenever I personally go to the exchange, and maybe I'm doing it wrong, because as I go on here to, not CoinDex, oops, OKX, and I go to the market prices on here, again, I don't see it listing HEX anywhere, so I don't know if they're pulling, and again, I've tried searching, and maybe I'm just doing it wrong, because I don't look into this too often, but I just type in HEX, and I don't know how much easier that can get to just type in HEX and find the coin that you're looking for, because I tried doing this for, you know, BTC, I find it. I tried it for ETH, I find it. Whoops. ETH, and I find it here. And they list both of them. They don't list ETH Fair, which is funny. So they're doing some form of gatekeeping once again, because once I type in HEX, for whatever reason, it's now no longer showing up. I tried clicking through all of these just to see if it may be in a separate little system here, like one of the, maybe they put it under meme coin, or maybe they put it under layer 2 because it is a layer 2 token. Maybe they put it under DeFi, but no, they didn't. They got rid of it. So I'm not necessarily sure where HVID HEX got her information from. If it was there at the time, then cool. That's really cool. I'm not gonna lie. But again, we can see that the gates are starting to fall, folks, and that's why I just want to kind of bring this topic up again, because we can definitely see that the gates are starting to fall, and the more the gates fall, the more people hear about it, the more people learn about the ecosystem, the more people who can get in. Love it. I'm reading through chat right now. That shit's funny. Hex Farmer, what's up, my friend? How are you? Pierce Eat says, dude, the 1 second chart is where it's at. Yeah, I would be on the Webull desktop or whatever, and I think they had, you know, 5 second chart, and yeah, it's been a couple years since I've even messed with that world, but yeah, you would definitely see it just go bloop, 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 and you're like, oh my god, I can get in now and get out now and get in, and it was freaking wild, dude. It was an absolute crazy time. So definitely not a fan of going through that again, but it is cool to see and watch as you just progress. Nikola Tesla, what's up, Hex fam? Says Nikola Tesla. What's going on? Only one exchange I know that Hex is Polynex. Yeah, so I didn't check out I'm saying that Poloniex exchange. Yeah, I want to say the Poloniex exchange I had heard about back probably a year and a half ago, whenever I first started hearing people mention the idea of Poloniex listing HEX. Let's see what they got going on. Let me just pull them up as well, since we're talking about exchanges real quick. I'll share my screen so that way y'all can also see it as well, and see me going through and doing the research into this. If I just type in HEX, does it show up? HEX USDT. Interesting that they do that pair particularly, because HEX isn't primarily paired with USDT, which is probably why the price is sitting at 5.1 cents instead of the 5.3 or whatever. So maybe there's an arbitrage opportunity for those folks who want to go through and do some arbing one day. Okay, cool. I love the little charts that they have here with the little EMAs that they do, 5, 10, and 30. But again, this is just one of those moments in time that even all these are starting to curve up. Big fan of that. Love seeing it whenever everything starts looking up and starts getting bullish. And I have to imagine they got the dark mode here, but whatever. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool that they have it there. Not gonna lie. Definitely don't need to change anything on this one. Obviously you typically want to do logarithmic. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I like this because it actually kind of gives you a little chart right here. Does it show you on here on the 1 minute and like all the movement and price action? Yeah, no, it doesn't. So there's this new chart, new website that I found as well called BitGet. I'm not really too familiar with it right now at this point in time, but I love it because you can look at all the price action over here. Look at all the action. Y'all want action? This is action right here. This is buys and sells and how much they're getting and how much they're buying. So 360, 228 hex, 420 hex, you know, and then you have sells over here on this end, 300 hex, 90 hex, right? And so like people are selling this amount. I find it to be absolutely hilarious and to a small degree, but it seems like it's doing a really good job at least listing the price correctly. I tried looking on here to see if I could just see markets to find out where hex was listed, and I don't think that they have hex listed in like an easy way, which is why I'm not really bringing them up per se in this regard, because all I did was whenever I ended up doing the search on hex, again, I couldn't find it here. Oh, these are futures. We definitely don't want futures because we don't have futures. Yeah, so there's hex right there. Does it list it in the right spot if I get rid of hex? Let me see. Nope. Yeah, I mean, because hex is definitely in the top 15 no matter what way of counting it you're trying to do. But yeah, so I just did a little hex here, and then I pulled up the little chart, and you can see it has a lot of little action. So if you're just like seeing some movements going on, cool little system going on over here. Excuse me. All right. All right, all right. Back to hex. I was paying $40 for withdrawal fees in last bull market. Yeah, I mean that it's gonna get expensive, folks. Like it's definitely gonna get expensive. Big GZ, yeehaw finance. Let's go. I love that. My old eyes see dots as commas now and then. Not great when you're a dev, Keck. Oh shit, that's funny. Yeah, I wish there would be like an easier way. And what's even crazier is there's some places that actually count the dots as, or that actually do commas as dots. And like some little European form of calculation or whatever, they just put a dot instead of the comma. And that throws me off whenever I see stuff like that. You got 0.53 hex or 5.3 hex. Absolutely, Frenchy made bullies. Boomers love Yahoo. Yeah, they do. And why not? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, guys, we have this coming through, and this is big. Like, in all reality, this is big right here. Yahoo Finance, this is big. Like, could you just type in this little Yahoo Finance, go to crypto, and just type in results, and we show up out of the first 25? Because, again, you aren't going through page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look how many freaking pages there are if I scroll down. It doesn't even show me the end. Let me just see if I click on the very last page, what does it say? Yeah, 25 rows. How many rows can I show at max? So it doesn't even give me a number. That's how far back these numbers are, which is kind of hilarious in my opinion. Because, like, again, all people care about is what's on the first page, right? And the fact that hex is showing up on the first page, big news. Big news there. We need listings on Ask Jeeves and AOL. Yeah, actually, I found hex on MySpace, guys. Maybe the OKX listing was just on their app for some reason. I've seen that before on platforms. Well, I'm definitely not going to download the app to find out, but yeah, that could definitely be the case. PulseTube, TPT. The real staking will get listed soon. Hex real staking will get listed soon. Yeah, can you imagine what, dude, like, it's gonna be pretty freaking crazy, guys, whenever not only, because they had to change the way, like, market cap was calculated because of the way hex is done and the OA address holding some of it and not staking it, and they had to change this whole market cap, and that's the problem. That's like I used to use Nomics, and for the most part I still use Nomics for my charts and stuff whenever I'm building out Excel spreadsheets, because they allow the ability to import the data. And you can do import XML and all that good stuff, or import XML. Yeah, I don't think I said it right, but you can pull up some data from this. But again, even here, like, they changed the market cap here, so now they only have 7.44 billion. So they have hex at spot 16. And again, like, at one point in time on Nomics, hex was right here, and this, like, if you took out the USDC and the tether, we were in the top 3 spot. Like, we were in the number 3 spot. And it's really kind of funny that, you know, eventually we're going to pass Ethereum and Bitcoin. And people aren't going to be able to know what to F to do. Let's see what they say. Oh, it's currently unavailable. Aw. It used to be cool to see what they would say, but they were always wrong, by the way. So I was just going to see what it said for HEX in the next coming days. But yeah, Nomics is another one that's done pretty well in terms of trying to help out the HEX ecosystem. All the Hexicans, because of the outreach that we have, you know, started promoting it like crazy, and then they went and did something so shiesty and lowered the market cap calculation, even though they understood damn well how the market cap is calculated, and yet they won't change it for, say, Bitcoin, where there's 100,000 Bitcoin that are sitting stagnant, that have never been touched or sold, that people consider to be Satoshi's wallet, and yet they count that toward the freaking market cap. And it's so frustrating, the double-edged protocol, double-edged sword that they have, to say it. But I digress. I don't want to get too crazy with that, because again, that's definitely digressing. Because guys, we have so much good stuff going on, and I don't want to talk about the bad stuff, because we can talk about bad stuff all day. And in fact, some people like talking about bad stuff, so let me know down in the comments below if that's something that you're enjoying. Like, if you want me to get negative on this shit, I can get freaking negative, right? But I try to keep it positive, because man, if you don't have a positive outlook in life in general, it's so tough to get through your day, man. That's when you have other items of depression and other thoughts start trickling through your head. And I've lost too many friends, military and non-military, to that shit, that I really don't like going down that rabbit hole, because I've been down some rabbit holes before, and it's a deep, dark rabbit hole, man. It's tough to climb out of. And I feel like you're buried in an avalanche, and sometimes you're just clawing your way out with a freaking spoon. And sometimes that's the way it is. But luckily, whenever I found HEX, dude, like I said, dude, it was truly a weight lifted off my shoulder. I've talked about this before, but I truly felt like I found the camaraderie that I was looking for, that I didn't find, that you don't find outside the military. Very difficult to find, but I was able to find the brotherhood, the camaraderie, the people banding together for a good common cause. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So I can't wait for the next bull market either. Yeah, Pierce ETH. It's scary AF. Facts, dude. Like, it is scary, dude. Like, the fact that we're so early and so blessed to even hear about this, dude. Like, HEX is 3 years old. We're still so freaking early. I have stakes going out to 15 years. My daughter is about to be 12 in June. My son's turning 10 at the end of this month. Like, you want to talk about time flying by? Like, that, you should fucking blinks of an eye. So if I think about it like that, I can delay my gratification for a lot of it, because I'm like, dude, I can wait. Like, it's gonna be for them. I'm doing this for them. I have a staking ladder set up for generational wealth. I'm doing it because, again, for them. Like, yeah, I get the benefit of being able to retire and having fun and do what I want when I want, but in the grand scheme of things, I want them to never have to work for the man, and understand the benefit of a dollar, and understand like the true perks of how it all works, and how the whole market and ecosystem works. And that's kind of where this channel started from, you know what I mean? Just trying to want to help all them. I can't wait for the next bull market. Yeah, dude, I've heard talks anywhere between $2 to $10 HEX in the next bull market. And, you know, I don't have any reason not to believe that to be the case. John Trotter, what's up, HEX crew? What's up, John Trotter? When Nomics pulled that off, Hexkins weren't happy and totally wrecked their ratings everywhere. Yeah, dude, Nomics, they fucked up for sure, dude. That was something where they truly did mess up, in my personal opinion. But they're still around, and they're still doing their thing. And even after all the outrage that we tried, you know, spitting and spanning and saying everything that we possibly could, they continue doing their thing, and I think they'll continue doing their thing, and we aren't going to stop them. So I'm okay with that. But let's talk about the final discussion today, folks. And that is going to be the God Whale. The God Whale ended their stake. We were wondering if they would end their stake. It actually came due yesterday. We were wondering if they would. Obviously, it didn't. This is a HEX alert right here, and we're going to dive into this transaction as we go into more detail. But this was the HEX alert right here, saying that the God Whale ended a 2.1 billion HEX stake. Now, again, if we pull up the Etherscan transaction, and I love HEX alerts. If you aren't following them, you can go to @WhaleHex on Twitter, and they post all the alerts happening, whether it be a million HEX staked, whether it be 3 million HEX bought for $180,000, whether it be someone nuking themselves, like right here. They ended their stake early by about 100 days, so they didn't complete it to fruition, but they weren't quite as penalized, because they started out with a 600,000 hex stake when they started. They ended up getting 900,000 hex during that whole interim and as a yield over the 1,000 days. And so they didn't finish the last 100, but they still lost 624,000 hex because they didn't complete the last 100. That was the penalty that you pay. Folks, this is serious. When you stake your hex, you need to understand right away there is a true penalty that you pay if you end it early. This is not like any other staking mechanism that you have in the crypto space. When you end your stake in hex, if you say you're going to commit to a 1,000-day stake to get the highest yield, and then you only do a 30 days out of that stake and then you end it, consider yourself wrecked immediately, because that means that you have lost all of your hex. Use these examples as a learning lesson. They lost over 500,000 hex just because they ended their hex stake 100 days early. And again, this goes back. They lost 1 million hex here for ending it 200 days early, right? This is a real penalty that you pay. In order to at least get back the principal that you made on it, you have to at least complete 50% of your stake. So do not stake longer than you think you can hold it for. First of all, if you know you have weak hands, maybe start short so you can learn how the hex ecosystem works. Maybe do a 30-day stake with only $100 worth of it. Now, will it be worth it to end it? Probably not, because the gas fees on Ethereum are freaking ridiculously high. But you can at least learn the mechanics of it while you're doing it so you don't wreck yourself. Because if you lose $100, so much better than trying to stake for 1,000 days with $10,000 and only completing 30 days of that stake. That $10,000 is freaking gone, vanished, finito, because that is the penalty that you pay. You said you were going to commit to a 1,000-day stake. Are you a man, or are you not a man of your word, right? Do you keep your word, or do you not keep your word? For those folks who don't keep their word, they are penalized like a mother sucker. So to answer the question here, the Godwell ended their stake. It was a 2 billion hex stake. And so really the next question everyone's wondering is, what is the Godwell going to do? And you can see this is wallet 666D, known as the Godwell address in hex. They have well over $150 million that they're holding right now, and this is primarily all in hex. So if they wanted to, you can imagine there's not even $150 million in liquidity pool, so it wouldn't make sense for them to dump it all because they would just wreck themselves. Typically what happens is they stake it, they take out some yield, they take out some profit. They did a 45 stake, and through that time they were able to accrue, I think it was 50 million hex. I guess I could pull it up right here. They did they got 27 million hex. So they did a 2 billion hex stake for 45 days. They got 27 million in interest, or an additional yield that they earned trustlessly, paid out by the contract every single day. Phenomenal. They said they would do it for 45 days. They did it for 45 days, and boom, they got paid out. It's incredible what they do. And you can see as we pull up this transaction here, I'm actually going to pull this wallet address over here to a different system real quick so that way y'all can kind of see. And I'm going to go to the website go.hex.com. Oh, I need to switch it over from PulseChain because I think I'm on the PulseChain testnet, if I'm not mistaken, for MetaMask. So let me wait for this to load. Okay, cool, it's not. And then we're going to paste this address in. And I just want to look at these stakes that they do, guys. This is a learning lesson and a learning opportunity for every single one of us, because they are clearly smart with their money. $150 million for most of us is life-changing already. And these folks have been in early. They were in on the Genesis for Ethereum, which means they were one of the first people to receive Ethereum, and they held it for a very long time, probably over 7 years. And they've been able to make a lot of money. So I don't see them necessarily selling Hex out of the reason why, especially when they have Ethereum as the other one. But these are the stakes that they still have out and available right now. So you can see that they are still sitting on 1.3 billion Hex out of all of these stakes that they have active right now. They're sitting on 381,000 T-shares just with this address alone. What you find out is typically the wallets actually begin diversifying, and this is something that you can learn from the Godwell and many others that have set forth the examples. Is once you have a certain amount of wealth, you start diversifying that wealth into different wallets. And it's not necessarily buying new cryptos, it's setting up different staking strategies on those other wallets. Why? Because if one of them gets wrecked, you still have backup wallets that you don't ever have to worry about. Because how unfortunate would it be if this one wallet was the only one that the Godwell had, and for whatever reason it ends up getting compromised or getting compromised, and they just lose $150 million dollars worth of value instantly, not even alone with what they have staked over here. That would be brutal for a lot of folks. So what you find out is they end up creating multiple other wallets that allow them to send the HEX over to that wallet, and they'll send over 1 billion HEX, we'll say, for this example, and or 1 million or 200 million or whatever the number is, and they send it over to this other wallet, and then they do a different staking strategy over there. So while they may do short stakes here, and what's funny about this, they have stakes excuse me, they have stakes that are going out all the way up to basically a 10-year stake. They did this one on day 137 of HEX's existence, and it's ending on day 3,737. So big amount of commitment here right away, and that just shows the level of commitment that a lot of folks may need to understand. But one thing you need to take a look at is check out this. The Godwell has never ended their stake early once. They've always completed all of their stakes to 100% completion every single time. That means they had stakes starting on day 139 and ending on day 1171. They actually had 2 stakes ending on this day. One of them was for 45 days. One of them was for over 3 years almost, basically, right? 1,000 days, 365, yeah. So very, very close to almost 3 years that they've waited for this one stake to come due. And they've waited on all of these stakes. Learn from this, folks. Learn from it. Like, why would you not use this as an example of how to properly do it? Because they've been able to actually capitalize on $516 million through this whole entire existence. And I'm covering, myself is covered up on this one just a smidge. But you get the idea right here, and you can see it. And it's not, you can't necessarily see it at the bottom because it's a little ticker. I'm going to scroll. Yeah, you can see it right there. 560 million is the amount of money that they've been able to actually accrue. It's incredible, folks. Multiple instances of billion HEX stakes, million HEX stakes. A couple of them were just for a few thousand. And this is what I love, guys. I love looking into this data because it really kind of shows me what they might do. Now, the next website I'm going to look at is a new one that I've recently found called app.rugzy.io. Rugzy is spelled R-U-G-Z-Y. For those folks who don't necessarily know. And, you know, Wanda, you came in the other day and spit some spam, and I don't appreciate that whatsoever. Oops, I need to refresh this page. I was debating whether or not I'm going to ban someone. If not, it would actually be the first time banning someone from my chat. I don't appreciate people coming through here and on my channel and promoting BS. And so I'll leave you for now, but if you ever try some stupid shit like this again, I'm definitely going to start banning you. And I'm sure you'll just create more accounts and just promote in that regard, but I don't appreciate it. So let's go into this address here. If I go into this wallet, this is the wallet for the Godwell once again. The idea that I love about this website, and this is a beta website, don't connect your wallet to stuff you aren't familiar with. I have a dummy wallet that I use to connect to all of these items. And so, one second here. All right, so yeah, this is another one. So of course, I tried to see some information here, and you can see really cool data on this website. In fact, if I go back and just click on Max right here, you can actually see that there are many instances where they actually were getting in back when the price of HEX was 0.0004 and getting it below a penny and still below a penny, and then continuing to buy. And in this moment right in time right here was when the price of HEX like went like poof, like fucking skyrocketed real quick because the Godwell has a lot of pull, and they saw that this person has an Ethereum Genesis wallet and how it's absolutely massive. And at one point in time, their balance has been over 300 million in US dollar value in this wallet. So, and that's not even including the times when the price of HEX was 56 cents. So a lot of good stuff over here for this particular wallet. Typically they don't sell though, right? That's something that you're going to see. They do token receive, token received. The idea, the reason why I pulled this up is because they typically buy on dexes, and you can see all of the transactions that show, and they typically don't sell. And I could even pull this up and load some more, but they typically don't sell. So it's very interesting the fact that this person has accumulated so much wealth through just HEX alone, continues to believe in the system, has not lost faith in the system one time. Big fan of what the Godwell is doing for our ecosystem, because guys, this is a big deal. I don't think you understand the ramifications that a whale in the ecosystem can have on the price of a crypto. And it can easily happen very fast. And again, you can see they send like $1 million over here, and they send it to a different wallet address, and you can actually pull up this as well. So this is 666D sending their wallet, sending $1 million worth of HEX basically, or 1 million HEX over to this wallet. Oh, that's actually a holder here, a token holder, and then they staked it. Yeah, so they transferred it and then they staked it. I mean, that's so often do you find this to be the case, right? And so like they send it here, and then if I pull up this stake, I can almost bet that that was just 1 million HEX. They did it for this one wallet. Why? Because that is what I believe is true diversification. It's not owning a lot of shit coins. It's not owning a lot of these other nonsense coins. It's buying something that you find you've done so much research on, you truly believe in the product, you truly believe in the asset, and then once you have the wealth accumulated in that asset, you diversify that wealth into other wallets. Why? Because you end up benefiting hugely from that as well. So let's take a little peeky weeky over here at this particular wallet and what stakes they have on this wallet. So give me 1 second while it reloads the page with the new wallet information here. They have one stake, they haven't ended anything, and they sent it out to the max 5555. Amazing. They had 1 million HEX. They got 269 t-shirts at the time. They were above before big payday, so they got 1 million extra HEX basically. So far they've accrued 2.39 million HEX during this time, and they're sitting on 3.3 million HEX, and it's barely even. We're on day what, 1180? What day are we on right now? We're 1171 is today's current date for HEX's existence in the ecosystem. And again, they have this one going all the way out for quite some time. So very curious, but that is what I mean by I say diversification. That's truly what it is right there, folks. So Stefan, like and share right now. This is fire. Thank you so much. For real. Like I really do mean that. Thank you. But that was the Godwell address. I just wanted to share that information. I think what we're going to end up seeing is the HEX t-share rate ratchet up once again. So it's going to cost even more HEX to get your 1 t-share. So if you're looking to stake, you might be smart to stake something soon. It's known that the Godwell will come through and do some stakes. And the way the contract works is they can't just do another 45-day stake and get the same amount of t-shares. They either have to stake longer, or they have to stake all the yield, or they have to include even more into the principal in order to get the same amount of t-shares. So that's built into the code, and that's why I think in the next few days we're going to see this t-share rate ratchet up anywhere between 300 to 600 additional HEX. And that's going to be it for today's stream, folks. I had an absolute blast with every single one of you beautiful folks. I hope every single one of y'all have a fantastic hump day. I will be back tomorrow with some more daily stream, live stream, 1:30 Central Standard Time. Catch you tomorrow. Peace.